Welcome. I'm your host, Robert Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom Podcast and Cowboy Wisdom Hypnoacuity, presenting 7 ways why I communicated away my self-sabotaging spoofs. Something I awakened to. All the negativity in the world is an illusion and delusion, but it's a spoof spooking us into yesterday and stopping us from moving forward in life. I rebelliously communicated away my perfection programming, all types of self help, personal growth, self improvement programming, and therapist written books that were, I understand now, my self sabotaging spoofs because it never ever stopped talking about the past. You want to rise out of the past, you do it right here in the present moment. For whatever event that's agitating you out here in the real world, is your past. That's what activates your memories. And tomorrow night's podcast, Hypnoacuity podcast, is about I liberate my past in the here and now. So I instantly liberated me from me by understanding, paying attention to halting habits, jealousy, envy, blaming my parents, other people, ancestor survival mindsets, third world enslaving mindsets. Overthinking about my daily life stuck me in self-sabotaging spoofs. See, we sabotage ourselves through our thinking, memory, mind, and everything, but it's our insecurities, immaturities that keep us locked and blocked, and then we go into drama. All the barriers in your life are inside you. And that's something I really opened up to understand. All the blockages in my life, the outside world is innocent. I'm the self-sabotaging spook of spoofs within me. I spook myself by all my overthinking, trying to fit into perfection programming, fit in a little box. But when you rise out of that, because challenges, adversity, chaos, controversy, and backstabbing, backbiting people were my self-sabotaging spoofs of being a goof. Because now I understand whenever something happens, see, I've never been backstabbed. I've been backstabbed by my egotistical belief system. I've never been backstabbed in my spirit and heart and soul, because when somebody backstabs somebody, you're not backstabbing them. You're backstabbing your integrity, your word, and your way of life. So people that backstab themselves. And I've done it. I didn't do it on purpose, but I did it. And all that stuff passed away 2 seconds ago as I asked me, how is the media and the world a self-sabotaging spoof? Because 99% of what's going on in the media is what somebody else wants you to think, know, and follow. And the world itself is still the same as our ancestors. We're here, the universe and God and whatever the mystical sources invited us down here to rise the world out of war to flow of peace. But we never understood peace, and war is a money-making industry. Big money-making industry. That's why we have war on drugs, we fight crime, we do this. It's never about dissolving crime, liberating drug abuse. It's always about having a conflict. As long as we stay in conflict with ourselves, we're easy to control. And that's what they do, is they keep us in conflict with, we got to conquer this, we got to have a war on this, we got to do this. But all we're doing is staying in conflict, war, struggle, and all that. That's our self-sabotaging spoof within ourselves. Then we get to be a goofy goober going, oh my God, look at the world now, oh my God, no, no, no. We just stay whining and crying in yesterday. And I know who was good at that. That would be me. You know, everything I talk about in here is something I'm rising out of. Not changing, not healing. I'm rising out of it to expand of sovereign liberation. Sovereign liberation. Just say that out loud. Sovereign liberation. Sovereign is mean I'm unattached to the outside sources, and liberation rises me out of the thinking memory mind, unwind my divine dreamer's daredevilry, set myself free. Because I'm awakened and aware of the dare society's vocabulary and indoctrinated education teaches limitation and negativity. Let's say that again. I'm awakened and aware of the dare society's vocabulary and indoctrinated education teaches limitation and negativity. Education teaches negativity and a low self-esteem. Because if you can't see, not everybody can read a book and learn a book. People can read a book to comprehend how it expands them. But see, some people were never made or to fit into the socialized indoctrination of the propaganda of the silent felons of the world. Well, actually, it's the fascist felons of the world. But we are taught negativity and change, heal, create, transformation, forgiveness, think and know and learn keeps you attached and locked and blocked in the limitations of change, heal, create, transformation, forgiveness, think, know, learn, and knowledge, because that creates your thoughts of your life. And a lot of that is a self-sabotaging spoof. And when you go poof, you liberate yourself. But everything in your life you think and know is secondhand information from somebody else. That is something I really opened up to. So as I now understand and admit, everything in the physical world is a self-sabotaging spoof, making me a goofy goober trying to be a servant to my past, thinking, knowing memory, following the society, trying to please people, all that, that's a self-sabotaging spoof. But when you poof, you get rid of it. And that's what we're doing. We're here to rise out of it. But if you look at the world, we stay in the limitations of our thinking, memory, mind. Everything you understand in education is a manipulation to follow something. See, intuition, imagination, inspiration, innovation, your unique trailblazing talents are here and now. Everything you think you know from yesterday comes from the past. And see, we've been silently suckered into the sabotaging spoof of being stuck in the past. Because if you look at the world on the surface, we're the same today outside of medicine and AI and all that stuff. But is that better? But we're really living in the same mindset as our ancestors. And actually, if you want to know the truth, the business world think it has an enslaving mindset, because you listen to all the CEOs, you listen to Wall Street, they think the taxpayers' money is theirs. So that's no different than any time in history. Actually, it mirrors the czars of Russia. Everything's for me. So how is corporate America the same as the czars from Russia? The czars and all the owners and all the tyranny of the past. See, something I'm going to tell you here is we have been taught a self-sabotaging spoof from the socialized control of the world. But as you open up to understand that you can rebelliously dissolve and communicate away all your self-sabotaging spoofs of your unrealized and realized insecurities. See, that's something I really want people to open up to understand is your self-sabotaging spoofs are your insecurities, immaturity, drama, trauma, self-intimidating illusion and delusions about yourself. Because everything we think and know about ourselves is usually a delusion and intimidates us. We intimidate ourselves because the here and now does not fit into a thinking, knowing, memory, mind world. This is imagination to be colored, painted, and designed here in the now. As your drama, self-imposed, intimidating illusions and delusions that are agitate you from your subconscious mind, frozen in time representations, are instigated in your daily life. Your past is present because it's instigated from your present moment daily life. And we always been to, oh, that's the past. No, it's the present. And we never get to the event or encounter right here in the present moment to rise out of it. As our frozen in time representations instigated daily events, encounters, experience, and conversation that invokes that anguish, frustrated emotions, feelings, thinking, and knowing of my comfort zone limitations and camouflage control. That gets irritated about everything that is outside my thinking, knowing mind and socialized trained brain and just my mind. And every time you say the word mindset or mind, you go into the past. And I said this earlier, but I've never been backstabbed because people that backstab me actually backstab their integrity, credibility, and the word, and they create a distrust in the world that'll never allow them to move forward. And something else I really discovered that's a self-sabotaging spoof is limelighters. That's people, a limelighter is somebody that's standing in a group of people that's doing all the talking. And he knows everything and nobody else can do it but him. He talks all the time. And I'm guilty as shit of this one. But they talk all the time and they know everything. And anytime somebody says something beyond their comfort zone, they get really disgusted and kind of bullheaded. That is a person that's full of insecurity, immaturity, and afraid that somebody knows more than them, and they're afraid of what they know, and they're afraid of their way of life. And that is a self-sabotaging spoof. And they're being a goofy goober. Because people have a right to their individual way of life. And see, we've been taught this is it because I taught this in school and education says this and business says this and this. That's why the world is in disarray. Because we're stuck in the egos of the education and business of the world. You know, if you get really honest with yourself, what is different today than 4 years ago? Absolutely nothing. That's a self-sabotaging spoof that's being played on us now. And that's because my ego verbosity talks and never walks. It squawks, but it squeals like a pig under a gate because we're caught in our thinking memory mind and subconscious mind frozen in time representations. If you listen and pay attention to the outside world, we're doing the same thing today as we did 4 years ago. You can take it all the way back to probably 1984 or even 1960. President Dwight D. Eisenhower told the world to never get caught up in the military-industrial complex, and we did. And that is where we're at today. See, a lot of corporations never had to do a lot because they got into into the military complex and they got paid, and that's why we get our $90 hammers. See, one thing about it, you got to open up to admit a self-sabotaging spoof is thinking the people you elect to Washington are going to do anything, or a state capital, because they're not going to do anything. They got themselves on a gravy train, and we're not part of the gravy train. You know, if you're going to wake up and expand out of yourself, you got to know all the self-sabotaging spoofs that are spoofing you. And that is one of them. And you know, something about because self-sabotaging spoof is bragging about what I was going to do, yet sitting on the stool of piddly do, passed away 2 seconds ago, as I now realize and communicate away all my self-sabotaging spoofs of gossiping, backstabbing, drama, trauma, embellishing the story to make me look good in other people's eyes, all negativity, because negativity is an illusion and delusion. Inspiration is an illuminating enlightenment of now. See, we're enlightened right here, but I got to go searching for it. Because if you go searching for it, you never discover it and honor it right here, right now. See, something I've awakened to. I've been playing this self-sabotaging spoof game for so long, I didn't even know I was doing it till today. So all negativity is a self-sabotaging spoof, blaming your parents, everybody but yourself, never being accountable and responsible right here, right now. Because the here and now is all we have. All this, and if you want to use new, you're going searching. If you want to use the past, you go back. But if you use the here and now, naturally opening wanders enlightenment right here. You you go on a voyage internally and an external journey. And you know, life is an illusion of delusional thinking and knowing, because thinking and knowing is something other people want you to know. How is education an illusion and a delusion? But yet it's a foundation. But thinking education is going to rise the world, it's going to rise certain people, but it'll never rise everybody, because to understand a world is like a sports team. You got to have the coach, everybody involved. You got to have, play basketball, you got LeBron and one other guy, but it takes 10 other people to make a team. One thing I'm going to say is nobody ever wins a championship by themselves in sports. Even though people are thinking, in the NFL today, they think, the quarterback wins it. And see, that's a self-sabotaging spoof. It's the offense and defensive lines that win the ball game. So it's like in life, blue collar is in the trenches. The trenches win football games. The trenches of people in the trades and all that, they rise the world. Business takes money and engulfs it as people generate the cash. And see, we've been to all the business schools in the world, but they don't understand. You pay the wages to the tradesmen and things like that, and the nurses, it all rises. But if you pay it just to the business, look what's going on today. That is a self-sabotaging spoof. And we're the ones goose because we buy into it. And did I buy into it? Of course I did. But I'm starting to understand people are the assets of the world. Business and corporations, small business, build a community. corporations come to a community and see what they can take. And something, this is kind of cold, but the corporate America is not friends of the American people. That is a self-sabotaging spoof laid on to us about a bunch of fascist felons that are spoofs in the real world. It's really about us understanding and admire listening, inspiration, questions, rouse me out of my thinking memory mind and to stop being a self-sabotaging spoof. Because life gets spooky when you get into the here and now, because it's unrehearsed, unedited, uneducated. And something else, when we really get into everything, and it's our conquering ego that controls us. Everybody's got one. You know, the world has been run by the male ego since the beginning of time. Look how it's doing. And the male ego is stupid. But it thinks it knows and thinks and knows everything. And all it is basically a stubborn ding-a-ling staying in the same place. I know mine is. So I rose out of the conquering ego, war on this, fighting this, to understand a rise of sovereign liberating inspiration, listening for the wisdom and insight from my conversations with other people and everything I encounter on my daily voyages, to facilitate and participate through canny camaraderie of my communicating with my daily life, to face and embrace every conversation with a forthright acumen, communicating enterprising acuity, neons, daring, endeavoring, maestro, brilliant revelations, awaken celebratory elegance, rising all people's wisdom, insight, and clarity to understand me and all people in the world, rise of listening communication, now and forevermore. I listen to soar a simple oratory adroit revelations. As revelations quiet the mind, I expand through life with the greatest of ease. And I want to thank you, and may your day be as blessed as you are a blessing to me and the world.